It's strange how a machine can make you feel something. How a body of steel, glass, and carbon can stir emotion the way music or memory does. Yet here I am, standing before the 2026 Mercedes GLK SUV, and my pulse isn't calm. It's alive, beating to the rhythm of something far deeper than horsepower or torque. This is not a car you just look at. It's a presence that stares back. The light blue metallic paint doesn't just shimmer. It breathes. It shifts under light like liquid mercury, alive with confidence and calm. A perfect paradox of serenity and aggression. I've seen many SUVs in my years writing about cars. Machines that scream for attention, but this one doesn't need to shout. The GLK simply stands there perfectly still, and somehow commands every ounce of your attention without saying a word. It's been years since Mercedes retired the GLK name. When it was replaced by the GLC, enthusiasts mourned. Not because the GLC was bad, but because the GLK had character. It had angles, edges, a stubborn identity that felt almost human. But now in 2026, that spirit returns. Not revived, but reborn. The new GLK isn't a resurrection. It's a statement. It's Mercedes' way of saying, we remember who we are. And as I circle this SUV under the studio lights, I realize this design is not merely evolution. It's an entirely new language. The kind of language that makes you pause mid-sentence and just look. There's something hauntingly beautiful about this design. The body lines are carved with precision, but carry the warmth of intention, as if every crease was drawn to express emotion rather than efficiency. The front fascia is minimalist yet deeply expressive. The headlights are thin and predatory, with a soft blue pulse running through the DRLs like veins under the skin of a living creature. The grille, finished in brushed chrome and blackened steel, no longer feels like a shield. It's a signature of dominance. The proportions are perfect, tall but not bulky, sleek yet muscular. The GLK doesn't lean toward cup-like vanity or brute off-roader identity. It stands in the middle, unapologetically balanced, elegant, and timeless. Walk around to the side and you'll notice how the light blue metallic tone transforms. Under shadow, it turns steel gray. Under sunlight, it glows with a faint turquoise hue, as if reflecting the sky itself. Mercedes has always been good at paintwork. But this one feels special, deeper, more emotional, as though it were designed to remind you that luxury is not in how loud something looks, but how quietly it leaves an impression. The wheel arches are sculpted just right, neither exaggerated nor conservative, and the 23-in forged wheels are like mechanical jewelry. Precision mill and wrapped in silent, low-resistance rubber that somehow manages to look powerful even at rest. As you approach the door, there's a sense of ritual. The flush handles glide outward with a whisper. The lights wake up in a synchronized motion, and for a moment the car feels alive, like it's greeting you. Step inside and that sense of life only deepens. The cabin is a cathedral of contrast. Minimalist yet indulgent, futuristic yet familiar. The black leather surfaces are soft, textured like fine-grained marble, accented by strips of satin aluminum and ambient blue lighting that flows along the dashboard like a calm river. The air inside feels different, cleaner, cooler, almost scented with that new leather warmth only Mercedes can perfect. The steering wheel feels like the heart of the car. It's not just a control surface, it's an instrument. Thin contoured spokes lead your fingers to a center badge that glows subtly at night. The digital cockpit wraps around you with purpose, curving toward the driver as if to say, this world is yours. Every graphic on the display moves with cinematic precision. No lag, no clutter, just symphony. The 56-in MBX Hyper-D display now flows seamlessly from the instrument cluster to the passenger side, housing augmented navigation, AI-driven comfort modes, and even a personal emotion mode that adjusts the lighting, sound, and seat tension based on your pulse and expression. But it's the silence that defines the GLK's soul. Close the door and the outside world disappears. You're enveloped in quiet luxury, not emptiness, but a living stillness. The sound of your heartbeat becomes part of the experience. The hum of the hidden 3D Burmester speakers begins to bloom softly like a whisper. Even before it moves, you can feel that this car was not designed for speed, but for presence. When it finally glides forward, you realize you're not driving a machine. You're being transported by it. There are luxury cars, and then there are machines that transcend the very concept of driving, becoming something closer to a work of art, a rolling cathedral of wealth, power, and presence. The 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS800, designed by Kahn, is not simply a new chapter in the SUV story. It is a rewriting of the book altogether. one that sets fire to the expectations of even the most seasoned collectors and enthusiasts. You do not just see this Maybach, you feel it in your bones. You hear its silent authority before it even moves. You sense its aura commanding space in a way only a few objects in the world can. The kind of presence usually reserved for palaces, yachts, or private jets. When it glides into view, painted in a dark blue metallic that captures the soul of midnight oceans under starlight, it does not whisper luxury, it roars quiet dominance. What Kahn has done here is not design in the conventional sense. It is sculpture on wheels, architecture in motion, a meditation on excess and refinement, fused together. This is not an SUV you simply drive to the opera. It is the opera, the performance, the crescendo. The dark blue metallic finish, deep and layered as though painted with fragments of sapphire dust, clings to its muscular curves like a tailored Savo suit, stitched with starlight. And because it is a Maybach, it does not flaunt for attention like a brash supercar. Instead, it radiates controlled gravitas like an emperor who needs no crown because his presence alone is enough. The GLS800 by Kahn is the kind of creation that forces you to pause, breathe, and acknowledge that human ambition has reached yet another audacious peak. From the very first glance, the design feels alien to the SUV landscape we thought we knew. The Maybach GLS is already known for grandeur, but the Countach is an elevation beyond brand DNA, bending lines, volumes, and proportions into something that seems to defy the limits of what an SUV should look like. The grille is no longer just a face. It's a throne room, vertical chrome elements, reimagined into towering spires that seem to catch and bend light like a jeweled crown. The stance is commanding, not because it tries too hard, but because the design exudes an air of inevitability, like this SUV was destined to exist in this exact form, waiting for the right moment in history to reveal itself. And the wheels, my God, the wheels, engineered by Kahn, with an artistry that feels somewhere between jewelry and military hardware. Massive in scale, yet impossibly elegant. They look like galaxies spinning in slow motion. Walk around it and you notice how no angle repeats itself. No surface is lazy. No line is borrowed. The rear tapers not in the soft, conventional way we expect from luxury SUVs, but in a way that feels assertive, like a yacht stern cutting through black water under moonlight. The side profile is an essay in balance. The way dark blue metallic shifts with each flicker of light makes it seem alive, a canvas of depth and energy. Even the details, the subtle Maybach badging reinterpreted with Kahn's precision. The chrome accenting placed not for decoration, but for orchestration. All of it works together in a way that feels less like industrial design and more like haute couture translated into steel and glass. Step inside and you are no longer in a car. You are inside an atmosphere. The cabin of the 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS800 by Kahn is less about transporting you from one destination to another and more about suspending you in a realm of pure indulgence. Imagine sinking into leather so soft, so supple it feels like cloud sculpted by hand. The color palette is rich, anchored by the kind of craftsmanship that whispers instead of shouts, but always reminds you that you are in a sanctuary of wealth. Every panel, every stitch, every control is placed with almost religious precision, and the interior feels both opulent and restrained. A paradox only Maybach, and now with Kahn's intervention, could pull off. The rear seats, recliners that rival those in first-class international flights, cocoon you with an ease that erases the idea of travel fatigue. You are not commuting in this vehicle, you are reigning from it. The ambient lighting, programmable in moods that feel designed for emperors rather than executives, transforms the cabin into a cocoon of light and calm, while the panoramic roof reminds you that even though the world outside might be chaotic, you exist in an untouchable sphere of serenity. The sound system is not simply audio. It is architecture for the ears, producing symphonies so immersive you feel the violins caress your chest and the bass kiss your ribcage. And yet beneath the orchestral luxury lies a machine of brute sophistication. This is not just a design exercise. It is an 800 horsepower beast cloaked in velvet. The engine note, deep and resonant, is the sound of authority incarnate, restrained but capable of erupting with a surge of power that makes the road bow before it. Acceleration in this Maybach is not an act of aggression. It is an act of inevitability. Press the pedal and the horizon bends towards you like it has no choice. This SUV, despite its size, moves with grace that defies physics, a testament to both Mercedes engineering and Kahn's relentless pursuit of balance between mass and motion. On the road, The Maybach GLS800 by Con is a paradox of presence and poise. It feels commanding yet effortless, massive yet graceful, powerful yet dignified. You glide rather than drive. You arrive rather than travel. And in every motion, the car communicates that it was not built to be compared. It was built to stand apart. Competing brands, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, even the most outlandish Lamborghini or Ferrari SUVs will find themselves shaken because the Maybach GLS800 redefines what ultimate presence on four wheels looks like. It is not just luxury. It is sovereignty. But it's the symbolism of this car that lingers with you long after you park it. In a world that constantly screams for attention with louder, faster, flashier cars, the Maybach GLS800 by Con reminds us that true power does not need to shout. It is not about being the loudest in the room. It is about being the one everyone falls silent for when you arrive. This SUV embodies the kind of quiet dominance that has defined empires, the sort of unshakable gravitas that bends social hierarchies. The 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS800 by Con is more than a vehicle. It is an era-defining statement, one of those rare machines that will be remembered not just as a model year, but as a cultural artifact. A moment when engineering, design, and ambition converge to create something timeless. It is a moving sculpture that will haunt the dreams of rivals and remain etched in the memories of anyone lucky enough to witness it glide by. The dark blue metallic paint, the unseen design language, the interior that redefines its indulgence, the performance wrapped in velvet. All of it makes this SUV not just a pinnacle of automotive engineering, but a mirror held up to the very idea of power, asking us if we are ready to accept that true greatness is not about speed alone, not about opulence alone, but about presence, aura, and the feeling of inevitability. With the Maybach GLS800 by Con, Mercedes has delivered a sovereign to the road, and the world will never look at SUVs the same way again.